right, let's go again. Charles Karin here. And in the Gospel of Luke, actually 9:27, Jesus did something to the disciples that didn't make them happy. And sometimes that's necessary for us too. On that occasion, Jesus rebuked the disciples. And I want to share with you about a rebuke that came to me in my early ministry in such a surprising way. I grew up in Miami, South Florida, had never seen a mountain, really, until I was almost grown. And when I moved to North Georgia, my first church, Atlanta, in 1949, I was thrilled with the mountains and the Appalachian Trail. And I hiked the Appalachian Trail, even slept on the trail at night a few times, and I loved it. But the thing I want to share with you is an experience that I had when I came up on what had originally been the trunk of a great American chestnut tree. The tree was dead. You perhaps know that in the early 1900s, a blight from Asia came into the U.S. and wiped out all of our Native American chestnuts. And now understand this, the reason that was so significant was that some of our southern forests were 85% chestnut. And these chestnut trees, some of them were as wide as your car. They were not little trees, and the loss of them was tremendous. At any rate, I remember once hiking on the trail, and I came up on the trunk, what had been one of these great chestnut trees. But in a ring, like a donut, sprouting around it were these little broom handle sprouts coming up from the root that were trying to live. And tragically, they were doomed to die too, because the same infection that had killed the parent would also kill them. But what was so shocking to me, as I was standing there looking at that huge stump and the little broom handle sprouts, the Holy Spirit spoke to me and rebuked me. And he said this, in effect, your modern churches are like these sprouts, mere imitations of the original one. Did you hear that? I did. Standing there, already grieved at the loss of that beautiful tree and the millions others that went with it, and seeing these little broom handle sprouts coming up and the Holy Spirit speaking to me, your modern churches are like these sprouts, mere imitations of the original one. I was stunned. I heard that on the inside of myself. The tragic thing was, I didn't know what to do about it. I didn't know how to correct the problem in myself and in my church. I only knew one thing, that all of our churches, hear that, all of them, every one of them, lacked the original power, the original witness, the original message of the early church. When Christianity was released after Pentecost, it exploded in the Roman world, even reaching China rather soon, in the Far East, and spreading even into Ireland and the British Isles very rapidly. Northern Europe, even Norway, heard the gospel. There was such an explosion of power, and great churches, great congregations were established everywhere. Well, as I stood there by that dead stump, and these doomed little sprouts standing around it in the ring, and the Holy Spirit rebuking me for my failure in not preaching a full gospel message, and not helping bring the authentic, real church back to the earth. And I didn't. Even after the rebuke, I didn't know what to do. I didn't understand anything about the baptism in the Holy Spirit and the imparting of his miraculous gifts. I was so tragically naive. My word to you is this. The day is coming when the power of God is going to be restored to the church and to the earth, and we're going to see again a massive, massive move of the Holy Spirit. I believe that. I believe millions are going to be converted. And we're not going to be like these little sprouts coming up around the trunk. The trunk will come again in power and might. I may be here for that and I may not. But at any rate, think on these things. Preach, you pastors, preach in such a way that the power of the Holy Spirit brings conversion, and it's not just intellectual argument. That's what we don't need. We need the power. Join me, others who are praying for a return of the great gospel tree, towering, grand, magnificent, beautiful, that was once in the land. All right, God bless you. Remember, let us know you're listening. Just tap that little button at the bottom and we'd be delighted to hear from you. So until the next time, God bless you. Love you big. Bye.